So this is the semi-automated way to macro taming in UO Outlands. So yeah, basically what you do, you find creatures that are going to be a good range. So like I have taming at 85, so blood apes and drakes, for example, take 85 taming. So you're going to fail the most with those, and you can still attempt. So that is going to be ideal for getting your taming passives, and you get 5 taming passives, and then you can level it up, max out at 5.0. So this is the macro. Basically, create a little macro, animal taming, and then target a blood ape or whatever, and then click vet supplies. When you create the macro, make sure you click loop after you create it. You're going to want to change the target, right click on it and change it to last target. And then the vet supplies, if it's the unique pile ID, you want to right click it and change it to type. And then you also then right click and add the weight, the pause weight. So you basically create a macro like that. And then for example, here, if you're looking, there's some chaos footmen, and those do a little AoE. It's not a bad AoE, so you just got to stay 1 or 2 tiles away from it. The blood ape, in this case, when I'm at 85, you just want to stand near it. Eventually, after when you get to a higher levels, you can only get like 0.2 get like 1.0 worth of passive off 0.2 gains when you're at like 110, 115. But when you're still at like 85, I think pretty sure it's like 0.5 passive you need, or zero point 0.5 points, skill points you can get from one creature. On the right side, you can see the blood ape that I had successfully tamed before. And again, see edit timeout. That's what you do with the edit timeout. I like to change it to 2, just in case I start the macro, start taming something and then play the macro. It'll get stuck at the wait for target if you can't use a skill and it's has a timeout of 30. It'll only get stuck it'll change eventually, but it's just changed to 2. It's a little better. Pause 13.5. I can't remember why I did that. I think maybe you can try 10 or 11 or 12, but I think I changed it to 13.5 for a reason. If you need to, you can just manually click the vet supplies and it won't stop the macro. So with that said, that's sort of the most automated way to get taming up. After it's at 80, do it 80 in Shelter Island Dungeon. And I have a video on how to do that relatively quickly. And then get passives. Now you can just wait for the Sanctuary Dungeon and just tame creatures in the Sanctuary Dungeon. That way you don't really need, if you decide to do that, if you're not in a rush, then you can basically have full gear. But I would not recommend having full gear if you're going to sort of sit here and pay half attention while, So anyway, I basically have nothing here except some vet supplies and 1 or 2 items I looted from a creature I'd killed or whatever. So and then there's not, there may be some scripts that might automate it more, but I doubt they're very great. Maybe they are great. If you find a great script, then by all means use that. But if you want a quick way to create a macro to semi-automate taming, this is the way to do it, in my opinion. The best way, in my opinion. You can click manually, with just like a 9-point-something chance of success, and then waiting. It's a lot of waiting and clicking, and see it just successfully tamed it there. So in this case, I would go release it, probably with the other blood ape, and then go find another one. But I'm already maxed out on my 5.0 passive right now, so I'm just sort of making this to show you what I'm doing to try and make it as quick and painless as possible. And then now that it's at 86, I have 5.0 passive, so I could get it to 91. And maybe I'll get this guy to 100. We'll see. As far as taming goes, eventually I'll probably drop parry, but at least for now it's pretty useful. And alchemy is just a nice quality of life thing. You can basically stay at 120 hit points. You got panacea to stop the bleeds and diseases and whatnot, and then also the strength 120 stays on for a long time. If you use the codex and stuff, you can have it be like 30 minutes. Pretty convenient. And then so that's the macro. If you have questions, feel free to drop a comment. Yeah, and basically, between 80 and 120, there's like 7 or 8, sections of passive that you need to sort of generate, which is the 5.0. And then you need to go kill stuff until you get it up to the 5 points, and then, get the passive again. It's a little bit of grind. I've gotten 2 other characters to 120 taming, and I've gotten about 6 or 7 characters probably to 80 at least, maybe more, maybe anyway, something like that. So yeah, I think that's probably the least painful way to do it. It's definitely not. Yeah, some skills can't macro, like mining, or but blacksmithing you can macro, but you can't macro the ingots. You need gold or to mine them yourself. So, but yeah. Anyway, that is passive taming in UO Outlands, and getting those passive gains. For every 0.1 gain you get of taming skill, you get 0.5 passive. So you basically need to tame 9 or 10 things to get up to that 5.0 passive before you go build the skill up by killing stuff or tagging stuff, and then create a simple macro like that. And that's, I think, the way to do it. You're not maybe you can try to get fancy, and if you do, good for you. But if you want to get taming to 120 or 100, past 80, you probably want to do passives. And this is the, use a little macro like this to get them, and then go kill stuff and go grind. And yeah, yep, that's what you do. Create the macro, record the macro, set it to loop, change the timeout, change it to last target. And then, of course, when you first tame it, you got to go up to it and tame it, the one thing, when you're in a good spot where you can just, heal your pets. And you also want to make sure the pets stop attacking. So, use all stop or all follow me, or a combination of those. If things start attacking, use all guard me, be strategic. All follow me, all guard me, all kill if you need to. Make sure you don't release the wrong pet when you release whatever you're taming. And I started with 4 slots worth of followers, so then when I successfully tame something, I can still command stuff. And just to clarify, so again, now if I'm taming something that's worth 2 slots, like let's say I went to Nacero to tame drakes, then I only want 3 followers, 3 slots worth of followers. Then if I successfully tame a drake, which is 2 slots worth of followers, I can still command stuff when I go release it. Otherwise, you can sort of get caught if you're not careful, if that makes sense.